and I always love to talk about CleanSpark. I'm going to delete all these labels over here, keep it clean, keep it clean. Always like to start with the monthly to start with. And the overall message of the monthly is that it looks like a very nice bull flag at a volume shelf. And overall is forming this cup and handle, and it's forming another cup and handle. It might form yet another cup and handle right there before going up higher. But I can't really complain about the price going from 25 to 13 or 14 after price 6 months ago was at $3. So I still think this is a very, very nice bull trend. And I think it's going to do pretty decent still. And again, I'm not really seeing any concerns in terms of trend exhaustion in the monthly. Now, on the weekly, you did have a trend exhaustion over here as the bearish divergence over here, but I think that's already been worked out. You already had the drop. So I'm not really worried about that much anymore. If anything, I think things are starting to build up some bullish divergence with RSI cool down. So I'm not really that worried. Like, these are hidden bullish divergence. You want to cool the RSI down from from 80 all the way down to the 50s. And during this cool down, price went from 12. Right now, price is 16. This is actually pretty bullish development, if you ask me. Simply back testing some of these horizontal levels down here right now, getting stuck in a volume shelf. You'd worry about a diamond top, wouldn't you? But diamond tops only work if you really worry about a trend change. Is there any sign for a trend change on the weekly when price just bounced off from a very positive pointing bull market support band? Not really. I mean, I think it's just been consolidating because they need to work out some of these technicals over here, but it's building some bullish divergence or hidden bullish divergence for price to continue to probably go up higher. When is that going to be? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks of sideways. Is that good enough for you? Maybe. I mean, can you imagine buying all the way down here? I mean, that's a pretty painful thing to go through. I wouldn't necessarily complain about what's going on over here, especially when the technicals are actually quite supportive. Let's see what the 2-week chart is showing me. Is it showing me anything interesting? I think so. The 2-week chart is usually going to represent 2-week price action. It broke through the cloud and it's basically kind of back testing some of the stuff. It didn't really quite back test the top of the cloud here, but it's back testing some of the Tenkan Nikkei here. And this whole sideways over here is on relatively decreasing volume. So over here, it actually still looks like reaccumulation to me. I wonder about if there's any update on institutional accumulation, institutional data. I mean, right now you have a pretty nice institutional ownership of 43%, and it's just been kind of going up. I still feel safe in this stock because, again, the institution sets the floor and traders cause volatility. So I'm not really that worried about it. And it's doing all the right things. Like, broke through the cloud and just kind of back testing some of the stuff and consolidating sideways at the volume shelf before going up higher. How long does it consolidate? I don't really care. I already have enough shares. If it goes down further, then I might buy more. If it goes down to 12, 13 or something like that, I might buy more. Could it end up doing that? Well, I mean, there's a possibility. Why would I say that? Because, let me see here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this gap down here is necessarily going to get filled. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If anything, if I look at a if I look at a 2-day chart with each moving cloud, I mean, there's still some potential downfall that can happen. I don't think it's going to, though. I think it's consolidating enough. The daily Ichimoku cloud actually looks pretty interesting. Like resistance here, broke through on high volume, back testing and support, broke through on high volume, kind of going sideways, touch the cloud here again on a daily, right? And right now it's just basically just kind of back testing the cloud here on like relative low volume over here. All it takes is just a little bit of volume to kind of punch it above the cloud and go higher. When that is, I don't know. What's important though is if you look at a monthly, what is important though is that is spend months number 1, 2, and 3 trying to attack the Ichimoku cloud above. This is always going to be a concern for potential resistance over here, right? It closed inside the cloud back in March, drop back down here, back test the Tenkan over here, found support, right? So far we have like an indecisive doji candle over here after like 3 days of May. We don't know what's going to happen. Could it go back down, back test, and go up higher? Maybe. Depends on what Bitcoin does, depends on what IWM does, right? Next thing you know, if IWM Bitcoin just goes up like crazy, I mean, I think it's going to punch through the cloud and it's going to get above all these volume shelves over here. The reason why I got rejected over here is because you have a lot of price history over here and a lot of supply over here. So yeah, I mean, if they were pushed above like 24, 25 range, man, I mean, it can go a lot higher. Like the top of the cloud over here is like in the 70s. But we still need to work out some of the technicals. We're still stuck in a couple of resistance levels over here, both in terms of volume shelf and both in terms of the Ichimoku cloud. So it's understandable. It's going to take a little bit longer to kind of work through things before pushing up higher. If you look at the day-to-day, you see Bitcoin goes up like 5% and CleanSpark's doing nothing, or CleanSpark's like down. I mean, like look at what it's done. I can't blame it. That's kind of my thoughts on CleanSpark. Look at the Fibonacci level here. I don't want to go price before like December 2020 because CleanSpark didn't really become like a true miner until like December 2020. So I'm going to use the Fibonacci level over here to kind of tell you what I'm kind of seeing overall, right? It's just basically bouncing from one Fibonacci level to another, right? Right now, I think it's trying to get back above the 0.382. I think once you're able to kind of break through about all of this, like about like 24-ish kind of thing over here, you can go to 27 or 34 in a hurry. I mean, I don't know when that is, but I like the fact that it's forming a bull flag because you can just keep going up higher. That's unsustainable. You don't really want that. If you want it to go up higher and not be exhausted, you don't really want to just keep going up higher after two big giant green candles closing way outside up a Bollinger Band over here on the monthly. You want to go sideways for a month or two. I'm not complaining about this. Anyway, that is CleanSpark.